Hi, and welcome back to David Pattinson's Accused Friends. Today I want to ask the question of whether Meghan Markle falsely accused the British people of racism as part of the abdication process with her and Prince Harry that's dominated the news over the past couple of weeks. And in the interest of full disclosure, I've never been a fan of Meghan Markle. I thought she was a totally unsuitable person to become a member of the royal family. And, I think she's just a sort of a totally selfish, narcissistic individual and, is extremely damaging presence as part of the royal family and has done great damage and will continue to do so. I've followed the story very closely with her and Harry ever since they got married and all the sort of ructions that have occurred over the last year or so, like the baby shower and the Serena Williams tennis stuff and Frogmore and all the different stories that have been in the news. And so I just wanted to talk about it from the point of view of false accusations. And as part of the departure from the royal family, I suppose is one way of saying it, Meghan's people have put out there that Britain is a racist country, and the reason she wants to leave is that, she's a black person or a mixed race person, and she can't tolerate being in Great Britain if it's a racist country. And I wanted to talk about this from the point of view of how we weaponize race and how it's utilized for false accusations to benefit the accuser. I often talk about cases of sexual misconduct, but the template is the same for racism, and so I can talk about it now. Now, whenever you hear about Britain as a racist country, the two things I think about are was Britain a racist country before it adopted a policy of mass immigration, or has it become a racist country since? Obviously, since the Second World War, there's a lot of immigration to Great Britain, and this kind of went into overdrive from 1997 onwards under the leadership of Tony Blair and the Tony Blair government, and sort of never really dropped to a particularly low level since then, despite a lot of protestations from politicians that, we're getting immigration down, all this sort of stuff. So obviously Britain's allowed a lot of people to come into the country, and now in the recent times, this issue of Britain is racist is a sort of something that's weaponized. And I think Great Britain can really benefit from, rather than trying to deny it's a racist country, to, wouldn't say embrace it, but acknowledge it for its own benefit. Every immigrant coming into the country should get a waiver to sign saying you may encounter racism when you're here, so you may want to consider going to another country, like France, where racism is nothing to do with us. A lot of people come through countries to get into Great Britain, those seeking asylum. So why are they able to come in here, benefit from the benefits that British life offers them, but then turn around and accuse the British of racism after they've come here? There's been this issue in football that I've talked about football players from foreign countries coming here, earning millions and millions and millions and millions of pounds, building personal wealth for them and their families that they're able to send back to their country of origin, but then complain about racism from the British people when they're here. Why don't we have that conversation with these people before they come? And of course, the Meghan Markle case is this issue kind of on steroids. It's so high profile. And I just wanted to kind of talk about, I suppose, my opinion is Meghan Markle wanted out from day one. She wanted to come to Great Britain, get the benefits of being associated with the royal family, get the great wedding, get the the great status, and then go back to the United States and monetize it. And obviously she wants some sort of excuse as to why she can't sort of fulfill a duty of marrying into the royal family to be a full-time royal. She wants to come in and then go out again, rather than say before the wedding, yeah, you know what, Harry, I don't think I'm the right fit for you. or we need to go and get married and live in the United States before committing to being a royal. So it's a kind of a classic bait and switch. You get the benefits that you want, Meghan wants, but when the British people want a princess that they can admire and meet and get to know, why don't they get the princess that they want? So I think also during the wedding of Harry and Meghan, there was a ton of stuff on the news about how great it was to have, Meghan obviously portrays herself as a black person when it's beneficial, and she had her African-American mother as the guest at her wedding, but her white Caucasian father was not there because he had the heart problems that week. And you just wonder whether that was switched around, whether the white father could make it, but the African-American mother could not because she was having heart problems, whether Meghan would be as portrayed as a black person as she likes to be when it benefits her. But anyway, there was a lot of discussion about how great it was to have a member of a mixed race heritage being part of the royal family or joining the royal family. And it's interesting to see now, 18 months on, where she's decided it's too much for her, and I believe it's highly unlikely she'll ever return to Britain again. We can now reflect on how great it was for Britain and for the royal family to have a mixed race person come into the royal family and then weaponize the issue of race against them and against the whole of our country. And I think a lot of people are going to be saying, oh, well, this is just like a one-off incident, or, it's no template for the, it doesn't have any bearing on the future. But what about Prince William? Is he going to be saying to his sons, you really should be marrying a mixed race person? Harry's got a great template there. Or is he going to be saying, you know what, forget the mixed race brides. Let's have someone that's white and someone that is born in England, has lived in England all their life, so they can't suddenly bail out, whenever they feel like they want to go and make money, monetize their connection with the royal family for commercial purposes. So I think there's a lot of interesting things to do with this sort of story and this case. And I think also it shines a light on false accusations. I believe it's a totally false accusation that Meghan's made about Britain being racist, because like all these things, they're done after the fact. It's not a case of, vetting the country first. It's done once they themselves have received the benefit, and then they want subsequent benefits later on. I think Harry and Meghan will make a lot of money back in Hollywood. And I think Meghan is interested to be very actively involved in the presidential election of 2020, going up against Donald Trump. I highly expect there to be at least one woman or two women on the Democratic presidential ticket going up against Trump and Pence. And I think Meghan's going to want to really politicize that event. And I think that will bring further scrutiny on the royal family's decision to really embrace Meghan, on Harry's decision to think she was the right fit for him and for the royals. And, I think it's a story that's going to run and run. But from my point of view, I wanted to highlight the issue of false accusations with racism as opposed to false accusations with sexual assault, and point out that it's a very similar template. I also wanted to ask the question of what about the this Harry and Meghan marriage, what it says about marriage in general. Is marriage the same as it used to be, where women get security and protection and financial provisioning and a stable environment for their children, and men get a loyal, loving, caring wife? Or is it a case of, when a couple gets married, the wife's career has to take precedence, and the man's career or the man's mission, whether it's heir to the British throne or any other thing, is secondary, and we have to defer to the wife's mission and purpose and goal, And I don't know. I guess we'll find out as time goes on. But I think as far as this deal, this abdication with Harry and Meghan, Meghan is a big winner, and I think everyone else is a big loser, especially Harry. I don't think he will. I think once the novelty wears off, he will really miss Britain and the royal family. I think it'll be tough for him to be as close to the top tier royals as he was, because everything they communicate to him is something that Meghan can monetize and weaponize against them subsequently. So I think there'll be sort of limited contact with the senior royals and Harry going forward, and he will become more and more isolated, which is sad. I don't think that's a good thing for him. But, you know, he was the one that decided to marry Meghan. She had a lot of red flags with commitment to her first husband and to her boyfriend, Corey. And, you know, I think she was just never a good fit for British royalty, and I think that's been proven. So I hope you like this video. Please subscribe to the channel, and thanks for watching David Pattinson's Accused Friends.